The barn door creaked open, and there she was, Karen, the HOA president, standing like a dictator in my hay-strewn sanctuary, barking orders at a dozen neighbors crammed inside. My goats, Mabel and Rufus, bleated in confusion from their pen, their wide eyes mirroring my shock. I'd been away for one weekend, and Karen had turned my private barn into her personal town hall. Papers were strewn across a makeshift table, her voice shrill as she ranted about community standards and fines for my unsightly wildflower garden. My blood boiled. This was my property, my haven, not her stage. I'd heard whispers about Karen's overreacher obsession with control, her fines for untrimmed hedges, her spying through windows. But this, sneaking into my barn for an unauthorized meeting? It was a violation too far. I stormed in, heart pounding, and demanded an explanation. Karen smirked, waving a clipboard. "This is HOA business, dear. Your barn's on community land." Her lie hit like a slap. My farm predated the HOA by decades, a fact she knew well. I'd inherited this land from my grandmother, a woman who'd taught me to stand firm. Karen's followers shifted uncomfortably, but none spoke. I saw my chance. I unlatched the goat pen. Mabel and Rufus trotted out, nibbling at Karen's papers. The crowd gasped as I declared, "If this is a meeting, let's vote. The goats get a say too." Laughter broke the tension, but Karen's face reddened. She screamed about disrespect and procedure, but I wasn't done. I discovered her secret. The HOA's charter forbade unsanctioned gatherings on private property. She'd broken her own rules. I held up my phone, already dialing code enforcement. "You're trespassing, Karen. Let's see what the town thinks." Her smugness faltered, and a murmur rippled through the room. Then came the twist. Old Man Jenkins, the quietest neighbor, stepped forward. He'd been silent for years, avoiding HOA drama, but now his voice trembled with rage. "Karen's been skimming HOA funds," he said, producing a ledger he'd kept in secret. Pages detailed her lavish community dinners, paid with our dues. The crowd erupted, neighbors turning on her with questions she couldn't answer. Karen's clipboard clattered to the floor, her authority crumbling under Jenkins' proof. I hadn't expected an ally, let alone one with damning evidence. The barn felt alive with righteous fury. The confrontation peaked as code enforcement arrived, lights flashing through the dusk. Karen tried to spin a story, claiming I'd invited her, but the neighbors, emboldened by Jenkins' revelation, contradicted her. I pointed to the charter, highlighting her violation. The officer, a no-nonsense woman named Torres, wasn't impressed by Karen's theatrics. "You're on private property without permission," she said, citing fines Karen couldn't dodge. The goats, as if sensing victory, bleated loudly, and the crowd laughed again. Karen's face twisted in defeat, her power unraveling as Torres issued a formal notice. Karen's downfall was swift. The HOA board, shamed by the ledger's exposure, voted her out that week. Neighbors rallied to dissolve her petty rules, replacing them with fair guidelines. My wildflower garden bloomed brighter, a symbol of defiance. Karen moved away, her reputation in tatters, unable to face the community she'd bullied. I rebuilt my barn's sanctity, hosting a potluck where neighbors shared stories of her tyranny. Jenkins, now a local hero, brought homemade pie, his quiet strength a reminder that truth can spark change. Standing in my barn, watching Mabel and Rufus graze under the stars, I felt my grandmother's spirit. She taught me to protect what matters, to fight with wit and heart. This wasn't just about a barn. It was about standing up to those who overstep, who think rules don't apply to them. The goats, in their own way, had voted for freedom, and we'd won. I learned that community isn't about control, it's about trust, shared laughter, and the courage to call out wrong. What do you think? Did I go too far? Or was Karen's reckoning overdue? Share your thoughts on what's right or wrong in this clash of wills.